Go
But
on,
you
man.
remember a few months ago, the government borrowed 192 million US dollars, you know.
For the budget.
Yes, so it came back again for monies. But all those monies will be able to do is to pay the 300% increase, because once the country is not producing, there is no way those salaries are sustainable.
You
Impossible.
really think so? Does the 300% increase alone? I don't think so. I mean, all right,
Well, I'm sure.
me go do the numbers.
I know about the 192 million US would be to do other things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the latest money
Oh, the latest
they
money.
want
Oh,
from the
yes,
market now,
yes. Mm-hmm.
that is definitely to pay up their 300% increase.
Wow.
But I don't think anybody should support that venture,
Mm. Right now.
because
Mm.
it's uncertain whether or not they will be repaid,
Wow.
because
Wow.
things are very bad.
Yes, and it have to be worse. Based off of the business,
Yes.
the last time the businessman came out and spoke,
Oh yes,
things haven't gotten better.
it has doubled, man, doubled.
Mighty
Hmm.
God.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh my, why we in
So
trouble?
yes, man, but I like that Mark Golin gave a clear indication
Mm-hmm.
that he will prosecute those
Yes.
persons who have put our
Yes.
country in this bad condition.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
That is going to push up his votes and his standing right now. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. No, because that is
Yep.
exactly what the people require.
The people were demanding it at all material times.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said it,
Mm-hmm.
it was a glorious pronouncement, man.
Mm-hmm.
He means business.
Yes, man.
So we can basically talk now.
All right.
Because at first, we were wondering.
Yeah, I know you
But
was
remember,
wondering. I know you was
yeah,
wondering.
but I did say on many programs
Many
that
occasions.
yeah, but I also said that the boys arena, the boys scout thing,
Between the
Andrew
PMP
took
and the
too much
JP.
money.
Yes.
Yes, I was
Mash up the
adamant in
relationship.
making.
I
Yes,
remember when you said that.
yep,
I
yes,
remember
he was.
exactly when you said
Yes,
that. Yeah.
and it is a clear indication now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not
I know
it's
it
not it's
couldn't
not
be the
business as
same.
usual.
No, it cannot, because too much money has have been stolen.
Right, right.
You
Oh.
know. So,
Oh.
boy, I can't wait to see the incoming government
I
arrest and charge those perpetrators and confiscate their assets and
mm-hmm.
seize their bank accounts and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and put back those monies into the country to operate
Mm-hmm.
future budget.
And whoever around them that might be also involved too as well.
Of course. Well, the prime minister is the first one you have to go off, because the evidence is clear. There is no way a prime minister could amass so much wealth. He's not a businessman. He's not writing books.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing anything apart from being apart from being prime minister.
Yeah, yeah.
And his wife is equally rich. But I know he's pulling levers for his wife, because his wife has some huge apartments.
Yeah.
I mean, like one bedroom going for. I'm on the phone.
Some are got charged for corruption. When the right time come. Caller is muted, he'll be back.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
man, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
The country is in a bad situation. When you see people are unable to go and get tertiary education.
Well, I can imagine somebody say them going to start life in the last 9 years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that, man? A man decides, boy, I'm going to start life, I'm going to start my family and all of this. Why? What a time for you pick that?
Yes.
In this state where the government of the country, with a promise of a 5% growth, to negative growth.
No, to stealing money through SSL.
My God.
Because it's the same people who were promising the 5 in 4 and got the same man there, the same bank as chairman. They aborted that mission because it was impossible, and they just took a shortcut, which was to steal public funds and funnel it through the bank. So that was the 5 in 4 plan, Bolo.
Were you listening to Mystic Sensation? When he talked about, he said that in 2012 was when Andrew Holness's acceleration of his property building and his wife's projects.
Same time when they took Bolo's money.
He's saying exactly that. It's the same time when we invest the money in a SSL.
You see, a lot of people are talking about Bolo's money, and they're not realizing that that deposit since 2012 to 2025 would have accumulated in compound interest of 44 billion Jamaican dollars.
What?
Yes, check it. Check 12.7 million US at compound interest rate from then until now. 44 billion with a B.
Yo.
Jamaican dollars.
That
is enough to shake down his father.
I was just about to go there. Because I was reluctant at first to say that, this situation deteriorated his health. But the more and more we think about it, and with all of these details, it appears that that's what happened.
Of course, the man wasn't ready to die. You don't see the man is just 60-year-old and fresh like 48. Man was looking like 48 or 49 thereabout or even 50, but he certainly didn't ready to die.
Yeah, and then you see it, him going through it. His parents is going through it as well because of their love for him. So that's the compound things.
That was a substantial loss. I mean, a lot of people committed suicide for far less than that.
Talk truth, no man.
Of course. Brascoli's son, who was former, the Brascoli was a minister under Edward Seaga's government. He was chairman of the JLP at one point in time. His son lost money into Cash Plus, and he committed suicide.
Wow. Cash Plus, and that wasn't even like nowhere near Bolt money.
Nowhere near Bolt's money, right? So, and the suicide. So, I'm telling you, man, that yes. So you notice people are just talking about the capital he injected at SSL. I don't hear nobody else talking about the compound interest that is due to the man and should be made payable.
But that obviously is not going to happen, because when you look at the gentleman that is paying back some people money, they made it very, very clear that won't happen. It's the money that you put in, you're going to get back. So let us look at this. Remember this in the news. It came out that somebody was responsible for paying back some of the SSL people their money.
No, man, it's just Andrew Holness sent out a corrupt trustee to make that statement, man. That was rubbish because the amount of money they were talking about that couldn't even pay off one or two persons. So that's crazy.
Are we talking about the same things? This was recently.
Yes, man. He's a trustee, man. He's a trustee for SSL. That was just a game that Andrew Holness instructed him to play.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Wow. This is interesting.
When Andrew Holness was attending Bolt's funeral, man, he should have been able to cut Bolt a check of at least the principal amount. He should have brought a 12.7 million US at Bolt's funeral. Instead, he brought zero with him.
I'm talking about I love you. Hey, man.
You see what power has done to Andrew Holness. It has made the man completely corrupt,
Jesus.
The man has created such hardship in the country that there is no way to move. You just have to stand up and him send the police force to kill all the people because no opportunity, nothing at all. So in other words, rob the people of their money, then send the police and kill them off. Rubbish. He's talking about that he went to do PhD and it can aid him in his quest to reduce crime. Nothing like that. His strategy is to tell the police to go there and kill with impunity and plant guns on them, and then tell them to lift up the bodies from the scene and just go and throw them at the morgue. And you know that should not be in an investigation, because you can't have police killing people and then removing the bodies at the same time. They would be tampering with the crime scenes.
That's a fact.
And that's what they have been doing.
That is a
so Andrew Holness is talking. Look here, crime scene must be sterile. It must be sterile for the crime, for the investigators to come and do their forensic examination and so on.
You know, that's an excellent point you just raised.
Oh yes, because you can't be killing people and removing the bodies, man. That's wickedness, man.
Nowhere else. The man them analyze the man them and drag them and put them in our, and even tell when the guy named Horace Chang. In his statement, he said, whether the other pickup come and take them up. So it's like they literally, it's like a new operation, how they're operating, and it's coming from the top. It appears that way, the way how them talk and the things that they have said. When you look at it, nobody's supposed to take up a body without the people and the forensics people them coming there, examining the crime scene, getting all type of evidence, hair samples, whatever, brushing on this for fingerprints, taking pictures. It's a detailed thing that's supposed to happen before the body is moved. Anytime somebody move a body, more often than not, in a criminal case, that person is labeled as a criminal.
Of course.
And also charged as well too.
It's obstruction, man, and evidence tampering. If you do those things overseas, man, you spend the rest of your life in prison.
My God. I never thought about that,
Oh yes. A matter of fact, they move the bodies before even the family members come and identify them. They rush. They do it quickly.
Listen, we've seen camera. We've seen people videoing from across the street and that happening. Literally.
Let me tell you something, man. Andrew Holness must be charged for fraud, because I know what is going to happen, The PNP government will not allow Andrew Holness to activate his pension, which would be $30 million per year after he leaves office.
That is very important.
So what they're going to do, they're going to charge him with fraud. So any future benefits that he should have received as Prime Minister, it would have been relinquished. It would have been rescinded. He wouldn't benefit from that if he is to be charged with fraud.
That needs to be done from the very first day in office. after the audits or whatever they need. Yeah.
Boy, I don't even sure if they need. Look here, they have to plug the loophole immediately. The first thing they have to do is arrest Andrew Holness. You can't. Then you can't allow a man like that freely on the street if a new government comes into power. You can't have him out there while you're doing investigation. You have to go for him immediately, because there is enough already, When you hold him now, you'll cover the when they say investigation is ongoing, right? But there is enough damage at the Integrity Commission, which is a criminal liability so far, from the amount of wealth that he has extracted and cannot give an account as to the original source of those monies. That definitely is crime that can put him in prison for many years. Those crimes are more serious than murder,
Fraud.
But you don't understand, when you rob a country and cause so many millions of people to have lost their future, and people in poverty, and nothing is working, hospitals not providing treatment, they lack equipment, they lack medicine, right? And they're not able to recruit the human resource to make those institutions function effectively. That is the effect of corruption, and that is why I'm saying it has to be long prison sentences.
Yeah,
Far more.
just like the prison sentences they want to give the youth now
From
for
yeah, from murder.
having a board gun or murder or
No,
anything. Them
under
youth,
the Offences of Persons Act, we have removed um mandatory murder sentences from 20 years to 50 years, because anything 20 or above would consider life sentencing. Now they have put that now to 50 years. So I'm sure that with Andrew, who has caused so much damage in the country, he would be getting hundreds of years.
almost hundreds of years, it's true, brother.
I'm telling you, man, the gravity of the man's crime is enormous, you know.
Yeah.
It has reverberated through the entire society, you know. Every move you make, people's lives have been taken down by poverty, you know.
Oh
That is
my
the
God.
price for corruption.
I,
People who used to live normal lives and earn money, send your children to school, travel overseas on vacation, you know. People were able to go and relax on the beach on a weekend and eat some fish, and the man has destroyed the normal way of life in Jamaica.
yeah.
Those things hardly exist now except for returning residents.
Two things. I would love to see the court case, a public one where the public can go and listen for his trials. Yeah, that's one thing I
I
definitely want to see. Yeah, media, the vlogger them, everybody needs to be there. Yeah, need to be a
or
public spectator.
e- even though Andrew Wellness doesn't have any shame,
Mm-hmm.
it sound very bad
Mm-hmm.
for even his family. When Mark Golin came out and say, when the right time come,
Mm-hmm.
them going to charge corruption.
Corruption, yeah.
Look, normally politicians don't go against each other like that in Jamaica, you know. But is the amount of money that has been stolen now that cause a line to be drawn in the sand, you know, my brother?
Yeah.
Because he would be frustrating the opposition when he takes government, because it would be broke. Too much money has been stolen.
And then the police, you know, the way how Andrew has led them in their mode of operandi towards criminals. I'm saying to the police officers, when the evidence comes out, because I think some of these police officers really worship Andrew Wilson. You
But they're
understand?
not fighting any crime. They're not fighting any crime, you know. I'm telling you, all they're doing
Mm.
is killing people and plant gun on them.
No, but
They're
that's
not
not the point.
fighting no
That's not
crime
the
at
point.
all.
That's not the point, you know. According to them, them a fight crime, right? So that
No,
same
no.
energy that they give to these criminals, are they gonna give? Are they gonna give Andrew or anybody else that might be after investigations found guilty? We don't ever phrase it that way. Then, are they
Yeah.
gonna give them that same energy? Are they gonna roll up in Andrew Owner's house, right? Or anybody else that is
Well,
found guilty and
well
deal with them wicked, like how them deal with the
the,
people and putting them wicked in I get to us. So are they gonna do that? Mm?
well, they may not kill them, but I'm
No,
sure they're
I'm not
gonna.
talking about analyzing. I'm talking about some of these police even embarrass people. You see the clip the other day with the young lady, the UK lady, they abuse the pepper spray and excessiveness and all of these things. So them go on.
Yeah.
That energy there, are they gonna give him that energy?
I think they will put a handcuff on him and take him in custody, because look here, as I said, you know, the gravity, you know, of the damage
All they
Andrew
already
Holness
know.
has done, you know, is severe, you know. Bolo, you on the ground, you see the damage the man has caused.
Virgin, we
Hmm.
feel it.
The
We
man make the
feel the
place
damage.
dry. Like it's like a permanent drought, you know.
Remember, say one guy called him for Anthony show last night. The man said him use 10 grand and put in a gas tank, right? For like 2 weeks. The man said no, that'll last 5 days. 5 days. 10 grand done. Gas done for go to and fro from work. That is a
Yes.
significant blast of expenses. The man say money even talk about groceries.
When you see you came out and say, listen,
Oh yes, the UA
we
thing.
have to run some business. We have to run
Yes.
some business up here to
Yes.
survive. That
Mm.
means they are going to shift focus from the core business they are doing, which is to provide
Yes.
quality education. Now you are going to become a hustlers then,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
Right.
will obfuscate the purpose for which
Of
it
the
was
institution.
established.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So is Andrew Holness causing all these mess, When you look at SSL's office building, now in the name of a vase, right? Can you imagine, man? Who could they get some bare face?
Yeah, man. Them and then asking for a third term, so that for them grandchildren and great grandchildren can live in Jamaica the way that they did.
Let me tell you something, man. These guys, they must be locked up quickly, quickly, quickly.
Swiftly.
Look here. You see, he's the other one who has to be placed in custody, Vaz.
Mighty God.
Yes, man. Oh, yes. Then how criminal property transferred into a last name associated to him. You can't transfer a property like that, man. That was null and void. That was a criminal property. You can't transfer that property. It's breaking. They were breaking the law when they did it in a Bolo.
Mm. Woo! Lot going on, man. That's all I know. Very interesting times ahead. Very interesting. But I am
Yes.
salivating to hear the next Auditor General report. I have been told it by Andre that it's one for the record books.
Well, there are a lot of outstanding criminal matters, so it can only pile up.
Mighty God. When they put it
Let
that
me tell you
way, I'm
something,
telling
man.
you.
When I move around and see how the quality of life have been destroyed by Andrew Holness and his regime, it's just unthinkable why a man would have run the country to such wreck.
Why? I want extra level of cruelty and wickedness and selfishness that to be honest with you. I mean the way how he spoke to the people initially when he was coming into power. I don't think
Everybody,
any I don't
everybody was supporting, especially when he
yeah
said young people time. You remember that?
yeah of
Young people
course.
time now, young. Yes, so everybody joined him
Yeah
and said yes.
and look at the irony of it. He might get old and now they might try to suppress the land and all the other young people them
Yes, man. I
in the
remember,
party.
man. Yeah,
Oh
I
man, it's getting
remember when Andrew
crazy.
Holness came on the scene, man, and said young people time. Boy,
Mm-hmm.
the man got a lot of support,
Yeah.
and boy, I'm telling you, the PNP has to change the way how they deal with governance too, because
Yeah.
it is the failure of Patterson's administration that allow Andrew Holness to become prime minister. Remember,
Mm.
Jamaica was dubbed a PNP country, man. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
remembering.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, and that guy came into power, and
I
boy,
think there
I'm
was a
telling you,
I think there was a loophole because PJ left. And the way how him left,
yeah.
the candidates that were there, people I said, boy, you know, there was some rift in
But
the party.
yeah, but to be truthful, even under Portia Similar, money was running in the country. No doubt about that.
Mm.
You know. But Andrew Holness has created hardship, man. You know that. Up to this morning, I was talking to a policeman, and he said to me that he was trying to get. He has 20 years of NHT contribution, and he cannot get a
I
house.
lie at him.
Oh yes,
One
and
police.
Yeah, and he said he was even directed, NHT directed him to go to the bank because he has to go through a commercial bank before he can go back through to NHT. So all those bureaucratic bundling, was put by Nigel Clark under the instruction of Andrew Wallace, because remember he was chairman of NHT. Can you imagine? Poor people. The banks need to steal money from NHT. NHT doesn't need any money from the bank. NHT was cash rich at all material times.
Yeah.
So why would you need to put poor people through that situation? And it was designated fund. The NHT trust was designated for people who can't afford housing, and almost everybody can't afford housing now.
Exactly.
Because there's only a few persons in the island who can afford to make their own houses. Very few. I mean, more than 95% of the population wouldn't be able to afford a house in Jamaica now.
Terrible, man. Gone, gone,
Yeah?
gone, 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 gone. Totally gone.
Let me
Totally
tell you
gone.
something, man. The guys, they stole a lot of money from NHT and various government agencies. Look here, those guys are dangerous criminals, When they transfer hundreds of millions of dollars from NHT to SSL, knowing that they're going to get it back into their personal pockets, what you do with those guys? You know that if they were in Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, or Singapore, they would be executed in the public, like in the square,
But hold on there. Talking this about fraud. You heard the story on Andrew about the man that is allegedly behind bars that fleeced the woman $160 million.
Then is a GLP MP for the same area where General Penitentiary is at.
How would it?
Is the same person representing him
Oh,
on
you
record.
cannot make this up. What?
Oh yes, he's being represented by Donovan Williams, who is
Oh
the MP for Central
no.
Kingston.
Damn.
But I'm not going to say, well, he directly would orchestrate anything. I'm not saying that, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that there's a nexus between that criminal and the GLP organization.
Wow. I mean, for me personally, if I was a lawyer, even a criminal lawyer at that, and I had any ties with the government, there are certain things I just would not touch. You know, I
Yeah,
just
but
wouldn't. I
that
wouldn't
guy
touch.
there, he was recruit. I don't know. I don't think he's from Jamaica. But he's a young man. He's
Mm.
probably 38 years old now, but he's into fraud now from his early 20s.
But he's
But
a
why
dangerous bad man.
would Captain Horace Burrell brought in that man into the JFF as marketing manager?
Man, I don't know, bro. That is a good question.
You remember that Horace Burrell name called and now like a fraud to,
I heard that.
Yeah,
I
remember when
fraud.
Platini was charged for millions of US dollars, man? They said Horace Burrell was a part of the ring, the corruption
Oh,
ring.
what?
Yes, yeah, man, FIFA fraud, man, amounting to millions and
Well,
countless millions of dollars.
well, to be honest with you, football is a breeding ground for that type of stuff,
So,
all
so,
around the
so
world.
the Captain Bakery thing was a sham, man. That's where the
Mm,
money was. Then his
mm.
boss, Jack Warner,
They say he
was
was. They
extradited.
say he was
Yeah,
cooking in the kitchen.
yeah, Jack Warner, man. Jack Warner
Mighty
was
God.
put on US's extradition list too, for FIFA corruption, yeah. And his sons were transferring money on the US payment system, SWIFT platform too. And they grabbed the son and tell him, and they made a plea deal with the son so the
Right.
father could be extradited. But I know he was fighting the case. I don't know the outcome. I know he was fighting extradition. Remember, Jack Warner became um, Minister of National Security in Trinidad and Tobago, at one point.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I mean, Horace Burrell was wrong to bring that guy in the organization. It's a whole lot of thing, man.
Brethren, what?
Corruption. And he's giving people in the prison authorities money whenever he whenever he loots money. He would have provided them with significant sums of cash.
Man, oh man.
You know, you so the man is supposed to be in prison and he's on the road enjoying
Silage.
himself, eating and drinking and going to parties.
Why?
But he's just one person, man. You have to go way up to send a message in society, which is to the level of the Prime Minister, you know?
Yes.
That's where you need to go.
Right.
It can't continue like this, man. Man, mash up the country, man.
Totally.
When you walk on the street, all public buildings, they are not even painted anymore.
What I mean about
Even
that?
Central Kingston Police Station. People feet stuck in the board floor right now up there.
I was just about to go there because I went to Kingston the other day and I was like,
yeah.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
Man. It's bad.
Look here, let me tell you something. You see, mass migration alone, which has caused family to be disintegrated and disrupted and unprotected. That alone, you know, should be 1,000 years sentence on Joelness, you know, brother.
And they even encourage you to.
Just to see good fathers who are to leave their children behind with grandmother because they say we can't survive under Joelness. That home used to be protected by that person who immigrated. Supply food, pay all sort of bills. Now they're sending back the money through Western Union, but it's not sufficient like when you're at home dealing with the family and protecting your family and, you know, organize your family and so on. Right. Those persons have gone. They couldn't survive under Joelness, and I'm saying that should be a specific prison time also, just for the mass migration alone. It should be at least 1,000 years in prison.
My God.
Tell you, man, the damage is serious. And you know that we have lost some of the most talented and productive people.
Yes, most definitely.
Oh yes. Definitely. Those guys who immigrated, they used to be the guys in the community that keep the economy turning, you know, their local economy. Yeah, man, those guys used to rent car and everything, man. Do a whole lot of stuff. Yeah.
You're touching on a very, because Jamaica, I know for a fact that there's people that have a heart here and they really help out families. You have a one promising youth here and there where they might take care of two youth enough for them and them not even attack to all the mother, just the goodness of their heart. Same thing with females to them, do the same.
Jamaicans have some of the best people, my brother. Yes, it's corruption in politics that causes hardship where people cannot manage anymore. You know? Yeah, it's corruption. The people are okay in general.
I mean, I have to go back to you saying, because he talk about him father. Him say he learned it from him father. I met Hussein twice. I will not say where I met him. I was working. I will not say where I met him, but he doesn't know me. But I had the pleasure of walking him to his car. At one point, he woke me up, and you know, him feel nice and
yeah, he's friendly like that.
Yeah, man, a good youth, man. And me, I tell you, the man goes up Babs and give me a tip, and the man said that enough. And me, I said, General, I want to you, man. Many thanks, man. Because I never look on you and say this is not enough. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Bolt is a kind youth, man.
Yeah, and I'm father and in family and get it from, and that is a Jamaican culture thing, and that I point to me and make so we really have some.
Look here, Bolt see youths in Africa and just let them join his entourage, you know, and give them BMW and Benz, you know.
Mighty God.
But them start to tell them, you know, like they want to be emissaries of Bolt. And Bolt say, no, I don't want to be in this confusion.
Yeah.
So he just leave them with whatever they got. And that's it, because Bolt give them a lot of things and carry them to party and buy them expensive sports cars. Yeah. But then Bolt was hearing back say, man gone behind him back and tell and other things in his name and all different type of foolishness. Yes, so Bull said, no,
Them
no,
take
no,
it
I can't
kindness to
afford.
weakness. And
Yes.
then you have some of
Yeah,
them,
man.
you have some of them in that culture that went, oh, you know, boat, touch all boat, and they want to give you their life. I never understood that culture, right? Of you wanting to just give away your life because somebody was kind to you. No, brother. You know, give away your life is just foolishness. And that person should not expect it to either. If they're a good
No, but
person.
that is what happens when you have a country that is full of hopelessness and despair.
Mm, mm.
Because when Bolt even go in normal community, if Bolt even coming from the airport, him stop all at GX Road, you know, and
Anyway
start
at
play them, you
all,
know,
man.
when
Anyway
wherever
at
him
all.
see guys playing around the table, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, man, him iron,
I
man.
can't forget, I was buying cane already from a man on Mountain View, and the man always have a little table there and dominoes there, you know. And the man said, Bolt, when Bolt coming from the airport, him stop there more than one time, right at Jake's Road,
Mm-hmm.
to just play dominoes with them.
Yeah, and him say it in our interview, you know. Him say, man, anywhere damn no table, man. From a bucket.
Bolt,
Yeah, pull up.
Bolt is a good youth, man. Good youth. And you know, look at the big building he put up in half a tree too.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
That he rented out to the people who operate call centers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Boy, man, tell
So,
you, I mean, all right. So let me put the whole thing in perspective. If for some way out of the way it is proven that the government had nothing to do with um his money being lost directly, right? The fact that they are the ones that are the legislators who said this company can operate. They should have took that personal. They should have took that personal, and they should have done way more to get both not only just answers and the other people their money back. Brother, we are talking
well,
about a legend. We are talking about a global icon. We are talking about a
yeah,
good
but I
Jamaican youth,
mean,
a good
yes,
Jamaican
but
youth where
look,
everybody can say, yo, you don't want a youth to turn out like both. Him get rich and
yeah,
him have fun, but the way parents grow him have manners and respect and him humble. Yo, the man have so much good attributes, brother.
but you notice that is the same group of white men in Jamaica took away his money.
Jesus
Just think about
Christ.
these pure eye-colored men involved right there, you know.
Mighty
You have the man
God.
from Portland. You have the man from SSL himself. And but even the Prime Minister have the colour to match with them too. Prime Minister is very, very brown, you know.
Hey, him dance like
Very,
a
very
white.
brown.
Him dance like a white man too, you know. Him sing like a white man.
Look here, you Krasri is a Jamaican white man, you know. A
mm,
real Jamaican, you know, but him fully white. Yeah, you Krasri is fully white.
mm,
Owner of
mm,
SSL.
mm.
Mm, fully white.
Wow.
But he's a born Jamaican.
Okay.
Yeah, but him fully white, man.
My
Huh?
God.
Yeah, the man who is MP up by Portland there. Yeah, what? He's not. He's what? He look more like Spanish or Portuguese or
Yeah,
something like that,
him
you
have
know.
a little South
Mm.
American type of look
Right,
about him.
yeah, you know. And then, as you said, the Prime Minister of the color, cause the man boy brown man. If Holness were to have children with a brown woman, you know, they would come out white, you know. Cause even though Juliet is a black woman, you know, the children them still takes
Yeah, you're
and
right. Them
Holness
still
color
get it, yeah. Them still get it, yeah.
take, yeah. Yeah man. So,
Mm.
you know, is a group of brown and white men took Bolt's money, man, and said this country boy who's so young and spending so much billions of dollars, we have to take a piece of it. They took a big piece. But anyway, those guys don't take small money. So it is expected that they took such amount. Is Bolt's money bought the office building up there too, you know? Because I remember the man was running it from a rented property owned by Norman Arn, who was treasurer for the PNP. He owned Arc System. You know that company? Arc System.
No.
Yeah, man, they produce nails and chains and steel and all different sort of stuff. If they what they don't produce locally, they import it on a large scale to supply big construction.
Yeah, see,
So
yeah, look on the screen. Although me not play the audio.
No.
China looking to change perception of the country. Mighty God. Me not play the audio still, but you can see the
But
type right there
if you
still.
look way up in the party, if you look way up in the GLP party, you
A
know
be white people.
it's a racist group,
A be white people in
racist and
JLP. Be
classist.
white
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
white
Because
people.
even Carl Samuda and those guys, Lordly Shaw, white people, man.
Be
Carl
white people.
Samuda, I cannot like those guys, You know
That's
what?
why.
He is one of them.
That's
He
why.
is one of them who caused Butch Stewart to get so rich, out of
That's
this poor country.
that's
And
why.
look, Adam Stewart has all the money in the world now, and black people can't even afford books to go to school.
Crazy.
It hurts.
That's why.
I remember when Patterson was in power, Omar Davis. Butch Stewart went on an aggressive land acquisition drive, in which he was taking prime properties. I don't know what deal he had with the government at the time, but I know he was aggressive in owning beachfront properties and prime properties overall, and he got them all. And now poor people don't have nothing to get back on Adam Stewart. You see what is going on now? Adam Stewart is now with the GLP fully. And you notice anyway, you see Vaz and Joelness, you see Adam Stewart there. Then even give him ambassadorial position.
Hey, me not tell the lie, sit outside of this thing with the news. I don't follow them up,
Yeah, Adam Stewart is an ambassador, just like how Bolt is an ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris Gayle is ambassador too, I'm not sure.
Wow.
But I know that Chris Gayle traveled to the Prime Minister to India, so probably he gave him an ambassadorial passport to travel.
What I was saying is that, given all of the people them have this shade of color and the JLP, I was very confused as to why Warmington was allowed to continue to violate Mark Golding because of his color. I just never understood that. Never. Nobody checked him. Nobody said, "Yo, bro, you need to chill."
But Siaga was fully white.
Yeah, man.
Siaga was whiter than even Americans, Siaga was well white.
Yeah, man, in the white too. I don't joke.
Abe Abdul was well white.
Yeah.
Right? You have a guy like Carl Samuda now who switched to PNP and then back to GLP and he won at all times. I am not in favor of those guys, They're not good. They have given Butch Stewart too much of Jamaica's wealth. I remember when they gave Butch Stewart here Jamaica to run, prime asset, and Butch Stewart used it to carry in his guests and full up all the Sandals hotel them. And left here Jamaica and walk away free like a bird in the tree.
And the people that are listening, if you want any indication about Butch Stewart, look at what is happening in the Caribbean country with Sandals. So them name?
Antigua.
Just go and do your research about the president or prime minister of Antigua.
Yeah, man.
What he said about Sandals. And
it's 12 million US them all in Antigua right now and don't want to pay it, Right. And then them all go down to Trinidad and invest and the Trinidadian run away Adam Stewart the other day and say, no, you come with your own money, don't come on here to spend government resources and then you say you own it. They ran him away from Trinidad a few weeks ago.
So he wants to borrow the money from the government?
Yes, he want free land and he want tax exemption and all those kind of things.
Wow.
Yeah. So they run him away, man.
It's the same old operandi in Antigua. It's the same thing. But I guess
but Jamaica is the incubator for that practice. Politicians allow him and his father to operate like that.
Oh, wow.
But let me tell you something, man. I remember Butch Stewart gave the opposition party at the time a lot of money, to try and get out Gaston Brown out of power, and the people voted for Gaston Brown overwhelmingly and didn't follow what Butch Stewart was doing.
That is what
Butch Stewart is a beneficiary in Jamaica because in Jamaica, Sandals has 8 hotels and 7 villas.
Right.
Can you imagine how much billions of dollars they should have paid government and not paying it, and politicians collecting crocus bag of money under the table instead of giving it to tax administration? If one hotel alone in Antigua, one, and they rack up taxes to 12.8 million US dollars, just imagine Jamaica.
Somebody say yes, true. The 21 families.
You understand? So right now, Adam Stewart is living large, poor people hungry like dog. They have stolen poor people's money in Jamaica, I'm telling you. That's how they own properties in Norbrook, Cherry Garden, and Beverly Hills.
Alright?
You understand? How did Sandals acquire so many properties? Right? As the man has a property, that only DJ Khaled and a few elites in the world can ever rent whenever they come into Jamaica. With water, streams of water running through the property, It's like they build the property where you can literally walk out into streams of water. And they will put tables there and water running and food cooked, all the delicacies from the sea and all of that. It's not only hotels and villas they have, my brother. They have a whole lot of houses. They have everything. Remember, they own the car company that sell Porsche and Porsche, and then you have VW on Oxford Road there.
Even that, they were not trying to ship in Antigua.
And they have AC Marriott. They have AC Marriott. They own everything, man. Come on, man. That is why I'm saying politicians are failure in Jamaica, my brother. Big time failure. A big time failure. How can one man have so much money and poor people can't even find food to eat, and it's poor people's resources they have taken in order to accumulate so much wealth? I see politicians as some cruel people, my brother. I'm telling you, cruel. You can know that poor people want education and clothes on them back, and you give Jamaican white man so much money and property to advance himself for he and his children for many generations to come, and black people don't have nothing, my brother, nothing. All them do is throw them in a jail cell and lock them up, and them can't get lawyer to get them out.
And when market chief come out and say, house to rent and them something and money for these people, when they call them the elderly people, they say, yes,
money,
but we can't afford it.
Lie, they can afford it, because when you look at the amount of money that was stolen from SSL, it is a sure indicator that the monies were there to make people advance themselves and live more dignified lifestyles. It's corruption that have shortchanged our people. There was no need for Jamaicans to be suffering like this, my friend. It's selfishness and greed,
Straight selfishness, my boss.
Look here, remember, my brother, look how close we are to the biggest trading partner in the world, the US.
Steve Walker said the lies. What is Steve Walker talking? Where are the lies, Steve Walker? What are you talking about? What you're referring to?
Jamaica is a close transshipment point to US, the biggest economy in the world. And we have that all these years, even before China gets so big. We had that access to the US. And what we do with it? We didn't use it to advance our people. It's just a few individual politicians and their business friends who have amassed wealth and nothing for the ordinary Jamaican.
And they talk about prosperity, but if they were serious about prosperity, outside of investing in education and taking it more seriously, there's certain types of education that they would make mandatory. One, trading and coding. Two, economics, real estate. Those three should be mandatory. So, one, you're talking about AI, you're talking about the future, you're talking about having a trade so you can start your own business. The economics part of it is how to start your business, teach about taxes and stuff like that. And this is not just Jamaica, this is worldwide. They don't
Yeah.
really want the masses to be educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can be more winners in the system, right?
Oh,
and
You
and,
know,
and,
see
and,
it
and
here.
really make the competitive playing of business be more competitive. They don't want to give away the secrets. They just want a few of them to have it so a few of them can be
Yes.
extremely wealthy. You understand? And it's up to us, really and truly, ladies and gentlemen, to some extent, to
Yes.
organize ourselves to demand of these things from our representatives that are coming into power now.
Bolo.
Show them how serious we are about our children's future and our children's children's future. What is it, Jonathan? Yeah.
Bolo, I remember, when Butch Stewart walk away leaving here Jamaica with billions in debt, and even the statutory deductions, You see like what Nationwide did with their employees by not turning over the NIS money and the NHT and the income tax and so on. That's the same thing Butch Stewart did with Air Jamaica, and was able to walk away free like a bird in the tree. And
So,
when Wilmot Perkins, famous talk show host, talk about it, he sued. He filed a big lawsuit against Wilmot Perkins. Just
mm,
like when Peter Phillips said in 2011 that Andrew Holness was spending illegal money. Andrew Holness got George Suter from Last Street, who was a King's Counsel, to file a lawsuit against Peter Phillips or a pre-action letter.
mm-hmm.
So these guys always use the cover of defamation to advance themselves into more wealth.
How did that go?
Because if we had followed up on Dr. Peter Phillips' pronouncement since then, we wouldn't have this destruction in the name of
Yeah,
Andrew Holness to carry
he
now in
wouldn't have
2025.
he
You wouldn't
wouldn't
have
have been,
blossomed like
yeah,
this with so much
yeah,
of with so much ill-gotten gains.
yeah.
No, he didn't. He didn't. They just wrote the pre-action. They wrote a pre-action letter and served it on Dr. Phillips, and he didn't go any further. It didn't. It wasn't litigated in court.
Oh,
You know. But it would have probably silenced Dr. Phillips a bit. But Dr.
mm,
Phillips was doing a national service for the people.
my
Yeah.
God, looking back at it, man. Jeez.
Just imagine if we had followed up on what Dr. Peter Phillips said in 2011, my brother. Can you imagine how Jamaica would be prosperous now, not having the destructive hands of Andrew Holness in place?
True. That is
So
something to
it
think.
turned out that Dr. Peter Phillips is one of the heroes.
Yeah.
Because the man didn't have to. I remember you, Andrew Holness was so upset when Peter Phillips came out, and since then he was using the word bad mind, and bad mind. Remember?
That was a narrative, yeah.
Yeah, and that time Dr. Phillips wanted to save our country. He's a very good man when you look back and see the damage that Andrew Holness has done now.
And
Because
him know what he obviously knew what he was talking about because
of course,
he's a
all
finance
Dr.
man.
Peter Phillips,
He's a
yes,
numbers man.
all the people should have followed through on Dr. Phillips's pronouncements.
What was one of the most amazing statements that Andrew Willis made in regards to his house and the value and how it was built. Him not say him build the stone wall. Him help build the stone. Hey, this is a man I'm kid. Andrew Willis say him help build the stone wall. Hey, would I love for a stone wall, a stone cutter, and a man who do construction to evaluate the wall there when they in front of Andrew Holness mansion and tell me what we are looking at in terms of cost at that time when it
But
was built. Mighty God, the
they
workman
don't like black
class.
people, man. They
Hey,
don't like black people.
this man cool there, man. The man saying build the wall.
But
Say, mighty God.
Bolo, sad to say. I agree that Andrew Holness is the worst. But I told you that in the 90s, early 2000 coming up under Pattison,
Mm-hmm.
a Butch Stewart was living large. Butch Stewart used to go and boat with Pattison. Butch Stewart and those guys would go out and boat on weekends and so on. So, boy, it's not good for the country. Why is it that people can buy out politicians and just let them do whatever they want to do and disincentivize poor people?
Whoa.
We don't have a chance in this country. I don't understand why these politicians are behaving like that. Why would you just suck up to a few rich brown people and then the masses suffer? You don't care for them. I remember everything, Butch Stewart was getting a lot of tax breaks too. I remember everything. Omar Davis was finance minister and PJ Patterson was prime minister. It's under their hands that Butch Stewart flourish and see him pass on everything to him son now, and poor people are hungry like dog and can't even afford a book out of the bookstore to educate themselves. I am so
really
upset,
don't have
my brother.
nothing to add with the comments to that. Some
I am
people just
so
listening
upset, my brother.
and do their research. I have nothing to add because I never
Right?
knew that. I never knew that.
You don't remember? You never hear about
PJ
Sanders White House?
was close with him.
Oh yes, PJ Patterson and Butch Stewart were friends, big friends.
Wow.
Yeah, come on, man. And I'm telling you, have you ever heard about Sanders White House?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to check about the origin of that transaction between the PNP government and Butch Stewart. I'm so upset, my brother, that look here. I am sure that Andrew Willis has to go, because he's the worst ever in the history, but I'm telling you, Mark Golding, Mark Golding would not have access to all this money that Pattison had in the 90s as Prime Minister anyway, so they're not going to have much options to give who they want to give or to spend how they want to spend, because those days are over, And Joel shake up everything, my brother. The man has shifted the paradigm where an incoming administration could see money in the kitty to operate, Everything gone, The man mash up the whole place, Right? So, a new administration wouldn't have that leverage or that space to do whatever they really want to do. It's about survival right now.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's survival. But I'm hurting, man. Man, our people could be so more advanced. All the money, look here, we were the richest, my brother. Our educational system, was better than America, Cayman used to borrow money from Jamaica, We were the richest, the most educated, the most prestigious location. Tourism, the water and everything is since early 2000 that a whole lot of pollution started to take place with our water. But we had the best water, the best reefs and everything. Everything was good. The British left us with a magnificent legacy, my brother, and look what black people, our own Jamaican people, have done to the country through politics. We should be a rich country. We could be living a first world life. There's no need for our people to be living like dogs. Because it was all good. We had the resource farming. Oh my. We produce some of the best crops in the world, my brother.
And to echo that point, look at Singapore that followed us.
I'm telling you, look here, man. I just know that I am a hungry man speaking now to know how advanced our country should be.
Yeah.
And we are in this quagmire right now just because of politicians stealing public funds.
Anyway, I'll call it a wrap. I'm there from 11 a.m. and over 5 o'clock.
Boy, Bolo, in closing, I just want to see a better life for our people.
Definitely.
It cannot, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know, I think it needs a Michael Manley to spare the country right now, because all those big guys, who have taken away government resources, I would go for them,
Of course.
I would go for them, man. Then all Adam Stewart have to pay up in fair share too. Adam Stewart have to pay up his fair share to make Jamaica able to operate. What is the source of Butch Stewart's wealth? Where he could have left so much money and properties for his young son. Young man, where people in them 60s and 70s can't even own one thing that they own. And they work hard and go to school and do everything that was right.
What?
Hmm? Take back the
Serious.
money from them, man. Take back the money from them and run the country. And I expect that the FFL office building, I expect that transfer to be rescinded immediately upon the PNP coming into power. And the registrar of titles who sign off on that title transfer, they must be fired.
Yeah. And,
Because it was in the
fired
news.
and sent to prison too.
Yeah, it was in the news all along about SSL property. So why the registrar put her name onto the title and endorse the transaction, knowing that that was the office building for
Right.
SSL?
Right. A crime scene.
Yeah.
Very
So
interesting. Man.
that's all I'm saying, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Give the people what is due to them. Stop keeping them in poverty and give a few set of persons money and public resources to continue enrich themselves while poor people suffer and have no opportunities in life. That's all I'm saying now. Time for the poor to get a piece of the pie.
Time come. Time come for people them
Look
now,
here, man. Let me tell you something. I have no respect for politicians. Go and do the right thing if you want my respect. Simple. If you go and do the right thing, you have my respect. But I know what they do all along is to enrich a small portion of people and the majority suffer. I know that is their playbook at all material times. And I'm saying it has to stop now. Do good. If Mark Golding comes into power and do good, I can tell you he will serve as Prime Minister until he is 90 years old. Just do good, do the right thing. Just come, Mark Golding, and do the right thing. We will vote for you every term. Every term that comes, you win even before the election, the day of the election. Simple.
It would be a formality.
Yes, we need somebody like that. We need somebody because we have been disappointed all over the years. Mark Golding just come and do a good job as Prime Minister, and you know that you will win before even election day. And then when the election call, you will still win before election day. And that could go up until you are 90 years old.
Look at Ibrahim Traore. People are literally putting their life on the line to protect that man right now. Even with the threat of the United States. I mean, regular citizens of the country.
Bolo, about 10 people have stolen Jamaica's wealth under this regime.
10 people?
Yeah, man. About 10. I've done the calculation over and over. Right? We can call some of them name. NCD is one of them. Right? You have one name, First Rock Investment.
I've heard you mention that name already.
Yes, you have SSL boss and you have the same.
Mention their name.
Yeah, and you have that man from Portland too, who say my MP, my one of them where you have to go back for everything from him.
Wow.
Seriously too. Yeah.
Wow.
You understand? But even nationwide is a part of the beneficiary to a corporate scheme. Because right now them so reach $2 billion, you know, in taxes owed or some write-off, you know. Right?
Yo, you know them thing out me, man. Like, me as a regular citizen can't get away with not paying my taxes. Eh?
The Prime Minister himself is one.
Like, come on, man.
SSL boss is one of them too. Right? Yeah, and look here, you have a few ministers, you know, who right up there, you know. Don't take, look here, Desmond Mackenzie is extremely wealthy, you know. Delroy Chuck is extremely wealthy, even more than Mackenzie. And Mackenzie as an uneducated man is right there beside all of them.
Damn.
But you don't realize, Andrew Wallace just came in and he's at the top.
Yo.
Yes, man. Around 10 people have the resources, man. Take back everything and you can run the country and then give even the people breaks. Because you know poor people have been suffering. Call
Mm,
them in, give them grants and do something to stimulate the economy.
mm.
But those guys, their wealth must be taken away.
Eh,
Because other than, look here, there can be no economic recovery without justice. And the justice that I am speaking about is to take back Jamaica's wealth from a
right,
few
right,
elites.
right, right, right. Wherever it is, whoever has it.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, man. All right.
All right, my brother.
Okay.
Respect. Well, of course, you know the views and opinions of the callers, of their own. I'm one unaware, and two not co-signing any ideas. You know, I'm just a good listener. All right. That was not class prefect, but not head boy. The other one, I don't remember the terminology, but yeah, you've heard him many times. His tone doesn't change. He's adamant about politicians being held accountable all the time, like all the time. And I can't disagree with politician being held accountable. Class president, yes, that was class president. I cannot disagree with politicians being held accountable. It's something that I've had that same mindset all of my life. I think they should be held accountable more than anybody else, because one of the things that the Bible and one of the things that a phrase, is great power comes with great responsibility. Andrew Holness has great power as the Prime Minister of the country, right? And he has a great responsibility, right, to make sure that the country is operating and being managed in a way, because he's responsible for pretty much everybody's well-being here in Jamaica, whether financially, whether physically, emotionally, or otherwise. You understand? The buck stops with him in many different ways. The laws that are put in place, the sanctions that are put in place to protect the rights and of the citizens of Jamaica. Him wearing blue against JFJ, that was a poor choice, right? He should have stand in solidarity with Jamaicans for justice, because he understands well what their mandate is, but that's a whole different conversation. And I just want to say thank you guys. All of you that came in here, that stayed with me, is the reason why I stayed. I never intended to be this long. Like I said, I've been on since this morning, 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. 11 a.m. 5 minutes after 11. I know it's 5 minutes, 9 minutes after 5. I've done a 6-hour live stream. I went from my phone to my computer. Yeah. So thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. I am happy that that a lot of people was here that I didn't see in a long while. Arlene, Sharon, my moderator. So many of you guys I didn't see in a long while. Share promotion. I see some new names. Seymour Hills, Diana Henry Wagwan, Miss Curiosity Kid, right? Ibania, wanna big up on yourself, man. Thank you guys so much for sharing this space with me this evening. I know, a lot of the Titans are coming up soon, so you guys, if you want to watch live streams, I'll say you're gonna get those. But I have about 3 premieres dropping between now and 12 o'clock tonight. So look out for those. I have 3 premieres dropping. 1 6 o'clock, 1 9 o'clock, and 1 11:30. 3 premieres dropping. between now and 12 o'clock tonight. See? So the word is love. You guys have yourselves an amazing Wednesday night or evening. Alright? Mary Lizzie. You know you go. Look more here. The word is love, everybody. The word is love.